Welcome back to another episode of the Holistic Cannabis Show with your hostess, Dr. Yolanda Henderson and
Henderson.
All right, it's always a pleasure to be back into your homes, on your devices, all over social media and globally. I just want to let Mr. Henderson tell y'all all the outlets to watch the show.
Welcome to Manifest TV at Status Network, which is the future of broadcasting. We are excited to have you as a part of today's live broadcast on Manifest TV. We hope you feel welcome and will enjoy your time with us. The following information will help you during your visit. Please call us if you have any questions or would like to give an opinion to any topic that we're discussing at 470-251-4647. If you're on Instagram, you can find us at manifesttv.status. On Facebook, we're Status Network LLC. If you're on Periscope and you're a Periscope user, you can find us at status_network_. If you're on Twitter, we're on status_network_. On Amazon, Fire Stick, and Roku, just put in Status Network, Manifest TV. And if you're on YouTube, put in Manifest TV. We're there too. Thanks. All right. That was it for today, right there.
That was it.
That's how you can find us. That's how you can catch us. Saying today's show is loaded. It's packed with all kind of little juicy little gems and tidbits in there. But check this out. The Facebook question of the week. Somebody asked me was, what strain of cannabis is good for intimacy?
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Whoa,
that was a serious question, Facebook.
That's going down,
all right?
okay.
But check this out. There are strains, all right? There are strains that's good for intimacy. There are strains that are good for solo activities.
Solo,
all right?
what kind of solo activities?
When you by yourself and you got that tweet on, ooh, there goes my shirt up over my head. That one right there. You know what I'm saying? We got stuff that'll help you with that. All right?
Okay.
We got stuff that'll help you with that. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit later on toward the end of the show.
Okay.
You know, when all my good church people, it's probably gone.
Hey.
Praise the Lord.
Praise
the Lord.
All right, so we got a lot of things going on today in the topic of cannabis and actually reopening and reclosing the state. So we opened up and then we kind of like took a reverse. Still practicing social distance, still trying to stay safe in the midst of the coronavirus.
Yes,
and we have our masks.
Yes,
Atlanta
indeed.
Masks, though.
I'm just saying, there was a lot of factors involved in the reason why it spiked like it spiked. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think it's almost too many just to even pinpoint. Mm-hmm. But even still, all right, you got the protests going on. That might have contributed to the rise in the numbers. Mm-hmm. You got the people who was like protesting for the open the state. You know, they didn't stay at home. After they protested, they was out. Yeah. All right, so that gave rise to the increase. Mm-hmm. And then you have Memorial Day. That gave rise to the increase.
People want to get back out.
People want to get back out and they want to get back to normal.
Yeah.
But I've heard some psychiatrists refer to that as a type of anxiety.
Yeah.
All right. Now, it have yet to be seen about states where cannabis is legal. Mm-hmm. Did they see the same increase?
Well, California. That's one of the ones.
But California is different. California is a beach state. You see what I'm saying? All up and down that joint is by water. Yeah. The most populous areas of California is by the waters and where the beaches are. Mm-hmm. So naturally, you know, as the people will want to, you know, get back to the beach, you know, the same impact in Florida. Mm-hmm. You know, Florida, the people want to get back to the beach, you know. Mm-hmm. Because so much stuff was taken away, so many activities was closed, so many bars was closed. Just like in Texas. Texas got the problem because Texas is a lot of bars and after hour spots. Yeah. Georgia got the problem because Georgia have a lot of, you know, Georgia have a few beaches. I bet y'all didn't know that. Georgia got a couple of bodies of water that attract people. All right. And so with that, you know, and then it's close proximity to Florida. You know, a lot of Georgians went on down there to Florida still. All right. So what can you do going forward? All right. Because obviously just setting everything down, that's not feasible. Right. Even if you do have the rise. So you have to do something to curb that rise. Mm-hmm. All right. Texas have taken the first step by closing down the bars. Yeah. All right, closing down places. The restaurants, they went back to a 50% capacity. For churches, they went down to gatherings, should I say. They went to no more gatherings of more than 100 people. And if it's 100 people in the joint, everybody got to have on masks. They're trying to put it on to now where people will have to wear a mask as a mandate. It's like mandatory that you wear your mask on, you know. But the resistance to that is going to be how you going to take something that's a recommendation and turn it into a full-fledged law and then turn around and penalize me. I'm just saying, you still ain't legalized the cannabis. Right. I would have legalized cannabis first, all right? And here's why. Check this out. In Chicago, Illinois, they just went legal, right? Back in like 2014, 2015, right? They're not even able to keep up with the demand, all right, right now. So the state of Illinois is having a supply shortage. A supply shortage. Wow. Okay. A supply shortage. Wow. That means that they almost like hard to find weed for certain strains out there where it is legal. First time I ever heard about that on a professional scale wise, but in the hood it's called a drought. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just saying, in the hood it's called a drought. It is what it is. Right now, Illinois is in a massive drought situation. All right, because Illinois did not go along with in-state cultivation. Now, I look around Georgia and see the same thing, right? The supply. You got a lot of people that's going for the cars. A lot of people trying to get the cars, right? You know what I'm saying? So where's the demand? The demand is there, but what you going to do with the supply? Right? Because had Illinois would have allowed in-state cultivation, they wouldn't be having this problem. But they made $8 million in tax revenue. All right, they made $8 million in tax revenue, but right now the people who can have the cannabis on a medicinal level, they're not able to access certain strains to help them. All right, so please take note. We need in-state cultivation. If you're gonna jump out there, you got to jump all the way out there. Yeah. So if I got some politicians watching, man, jump all the way out there. All right, if you're gonna get in the game, make sure you can supply them people, man, with what they need.
Yeah. All right. So we also have the Sierra dust that's coming on in here from the Sahara Desert in Africa. Yeah. So that's also something that we're, got to stay looking out for.
Everybody got a little Africa in their lungs right now.
Got a little part of Africa.
Right now, everybody got a little Africa in their lungs.
And also we have our special guest, Professor Moby, the owner of the wonderful event we went to on yesterday at the Smoking Lips of Atlanta. So that was a really wonderful place, and we're going to talk with her and let them know, how much fun we had, and then go ahead and ask some questions about everything that's going on in their world.
Right on.
We'll go ahead and get her on the phone and on Zoom right now, and let's talk.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great.
What's up, Doc?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Professor Moby, indeed. How are you today?
I'm great.
Great. All right.
Awesome day.
So tell us what you're doing in the cannabis space right now.
Oh, indeed. Like, I am trying to, first of all, I got an herbal dispensary and smoke lounge, and we cater to all the lips of a smoker. We nurture, entertain, and service everybody who's a smoker.
All right.
So
holistically safe. Yes.
So is it just dry leaf only? The only thing that y'all handle?
Oh no, we got like a variety of products.
Okay.
But it's not just like a dry leaf. We try to like go through like the smoke therapies. So we try to smoke in good health and use like alternative smoke methods. The
Alternatives.
counter oil, the tinctures,
The tincture.
salve,
Okay.
things of that nature, infusing foods with the can of butter and, the can of cooking oil.
Great.
Yes.
We love it. All right.
And we also try to house like, a few smoke accessories for the smokers as well.
Some accessories.
That's like a bong, or you know what I'm saying, or like a vape pen or something like that.
Grinders.
Yep.
Okay.
For our loose leaf smokers.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So tell us what you do and how you got started in this.
Oh yeah, wow. Well, I started, out as a biology major and studying plants
Okay.
and everything. Yep, and I got, into the cannabis industry, and I started to learn, and study, like the scientific method of plants.
Okay.
Yes, and I realized that, the cannabis and the hemp plant was needed, especially for the Black community.
Exactly.
Why so?
Yeah.
Why so?
Oh, because why so?
Yeah.
The purpose is it goes along a thousand ways. Like hemp, if everybody grow a hemp plant in their yard, like we can use that one hemp plant in like 100 ways.
Okay.
Like from making clothes, from smoking, from like people with respiratory problems, laundry detergent, anything.
Anything. So hemp can be used in a lot of different things, over 100 things.
So that's what brought me to studying the plant, and to open up Smoking Lips of Atlanta. Because, everybody indulge into cannabis. So I wanted to like educate people and teach people about the cultivation part of the plant.
Exactly.
Not just smoking. That's why our motto is we don't just smoke, we smoke in good health.
There you go. I like that. That was wonderful. And and coming out yesterday was an amazing experience. The food was good. The atmosphere was wonderful. We loved the music, the reggae man. One love.
Right. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed. That's one of like the perks of being a member, because it's a members only kind of dispensary and lounge. So we we do sip and smokes once a month, and we have different themes. So you guys caught like a one love theme, which was needed with everything that's going on and all the protests and everything, and just today's happenings in uncertain times. So
in uncertain times. You're so correct. All right. So what do you have to say about the cannabis and the COVID-19? I know this is one of our main topics and focuses right now. As a professor of the botanicals and of the herb, what would you say would be a great way to help with the COVID and the cannabis? Just
knowing where you purchase your cannabis from, because we have a lot of diseases that are real that's going around, and not just with COVID-19, but prior to, it's a lot of germs and everything that's going around, even with soil and pesticides and like things like that. So we have to know where our herb come from. Exactly. Exactly. So that's like a big part, what I'm saying? We all like to indulge, but we need to know where it comes from. So we got to make sure it comes from like a major dispensary. You know your farmers, your background and everything. Right. So that's my recommendation. Just everybody needs to know, what I'm saying? Just do a little bit more research and know where, And so you can help us out with that. We can call you and ask you where. Right. Okay. And that's why I created Smoking Lips of Atlanta, because I want to educate people about the herb, not just smoking, but it's the benefit. We smoking good health. There you go. There you go. We might be calling you on to the school, coming on over to the Atlanta Academy of Cannabis Science. Oh, professor. Hey! I'm a professor. Hey, everybody. There you go. There you go. We always looking for learn something new. There you go, and you can cater to all people, and we appreciate that. Yes. All right. Anything you want to say, and anything you want to share with the audience on how to find you, or Facebook, Instagram? Oh yeah, sure. I'm Professor Moby, You can follow me on Smoking Lips of Atlanta. Follow us on Facebook and IG at www.smokinglipsofatlanta.com.
Okay.
And you guys, thank you for having me, the Academy of Cannabis Science. I love it. The holistic science, yes.
All
great.
right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining.
I appreciate you for
Keep
joining
watching the
with us.
show and tell everybody to join in, and hopefully you'll be back and share more ideas with us. And let us know when you're having some more events, and we can share that on the advertising.
Oh yeah, definitely great. But make sure y'all become members now.
There you go.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Exclusive members.
That's right.
All right. Tell everyone we said hello and thanks again. Have a good day.
All righty.
All right.
All right.
All right. That was awesome.
Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah.
A plant biologist.
A plant biologist.
All right.
That's right.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. You never know what you're going to find here. So you keep on watching the show, and then you get all kinds of information on where to go and who to contact. You know, we'll have all around education and information on the cannabis, the Holistic Cannabis Show.
All right. So we're going to take this little break.
Yeah.
We're going
All
to take
right.
this little break
We'll
right
take
here.
this break, and we'll be right back with you for some more information and some news you can use on the Holistic Cannabis Show.
We're now enrolling for Saturday 5-week comprehensive medical cannabis courses. Call us today at 404-631-6360 for more information.
The people who've been pent up in those places, they're looking at it as an all or none phenomenon. Either we're locked down or let's storm the bars, go to the beach, no masks. That's what the problem is. If you're going to open up, you've got to do it in a stepwise, prudent fashion. If you go from lockdown to complete caution to the wind, you're going to get into trouble. It's not going well. I have to tell you, it's not going well. Billions of dollars that were given to the CDC to distribute to the states for the purpose of identification, isolation, contact tracing. And that meant do whatever you need to do to get it done. You need to build a hotel to put people in there, do it. Just do what you need to be done. We got to make sure that happens, because I don't really see that happening to a great degree right now. So we better get on it and make it happen. You cannot deny this is a serious situation, a serious turnaround right now. As individual states, cities, locations are opening up, they're really seeing a serious concern of increase in cases. And it isn't just because they're doing more testing. There are more cases, there are more hospitalizations in some of those places, and soon you'll be seeing more deaths. And even though the deaths are coming down as a country, that doesn't mean that you're not going to start seeing them coming up now. I can understand why they're doing it. Whether or not it's going to turn out to be feasible, I don't think so, because if everybody starts excluding everybody else, you're going to have a very interesting situation in this country. If you get one that's really effective, 75, 80% effective, which would be really good, that would really confer enough immunity into society that you could start thinking about that together with public health measures. The one thing we better be careful of, we can't think that when you get a vaccine, you could throw all caution to the wind. You got to do both. You know, the companies tell us, and we keep asking, are you sure? And they say yes, that they, by the beginning of the year, could have hundreds of millions of doses, and by the end of the year, even as much as 1 billion doses. I totally understand the desire and the urge, since you've been locked down so long, to go out and just let it rip, as they say. Just go out and have a great time. You've got to understand that we're seeing more and more situations where young, otherwise healthy people who get infected are getting seriously ill. So you have a responsibility to yourself. But as important is that when you get infected, even if you don't have any symptoms, you are part of the dynamic process of propagating a pandemic that's killing people. So just think about that for a second. You're not in a vacuum. You're part of a process. So please try and understand that societal responsibility.
You're part of the solution.
Either you part of the solution or you part of the problem. That's what the man said.
Yep.
So that's I guess that's what the problem is, man. It's you know, you kept people inside for so long with nothing to do.
Yeah.
And now that
they wanted to get back.
They want to get back out there, you know, but some of the people that's coming back out there is just not, you know, exercising the precautions and taking the necessary steps. Yeah. Even I got back out there and started working again. And so every day, you know, as soon as I step out the truck, because I don't wear my mask in the truck. All right? I
don't wear your mask in the car.
I don't wear my gloves in the truck. You know what I'm saying? I still can't understand people that do, man, but hey, man, you do what you do, man. If you go contaminate yourself, you go contaminate yourself in your car, right? Check this out. You go in public with your mask on. You got your gloves on. Yeah, you protected. You good to go, right? So now, you know what I'm saying, while you was walking around that store, your cell phone was ringing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most people, out of habit, don't touch their cell phone with that same glove. You touch the cell phone. Talk on the phone, now you done held that virus up to your face. You done held them germs up to your face, all right? Whatever. So now you check out, you know what I'm saying, you in the checkout line, so now you rumbling through your purse with them gloves on. You rumbling through your purse, rumbling through the wallet. Guess what? You leaving them germs there too. Contact infection right there. All right, so then, you know what I'm saying, now you gonna grab your bags. Right, you throwing away your receipt, you grab your receipt, you ain't thinking about it, grabbing your change, ain't thinking about putting that in your pocket. Then you get back out there to your car. Now you done got in your car, right? You done touch your door handle, all right? You done left your germs right there too. So now you open your car door, you know what I'm saying, guess what you got in your hand? Your keys, all right? So now you go put your keys in the car, start your car, I ain't thinking about it, still, you safe. Right. So then you put your keys in the switch, now you drive down the street, Guess what you can touch? Your steering wheel and your door, you know what I'm saying? And your radio and your air conditioner and your cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? All that. Now, think about all that. You done touched all that. I ain't even thought no more about it. You done touched the steering wheel. Guess what? Now your phone on your Bluetooth, right? Because you safe, right? So now your phone is hanging in front of your face. You're already distracted right there. But your phone ring. Now it's a Facebook call. You're going to hit that Facebook button, bring the person in on the screen, and guess what? You laughing. Talking, steady blowing them germs, right? You know what I'm saying? But check this out. Now you got the mask and the gloves on. You still ain't thought to take none of this stuff out. You look foolish. You look a whole fool. But then you get to the house. Now you done got out the house. Guess what? You're still safe, right? You got your mask on, got your gloves on. I ain't thought no more about it. You get out there at your house. Now you at your house, right? So now everything that you done touched at the grocery store, all the food, all the bags, your keys, your purse, your phone, you done took all that in the house and just set it down. But you ain't the only person that lived there. You got kids, and kids don't care about what you did when you went outside. They're going to run up to you and hug you. They're going to touch the bags. They're going to touch your purse. They're going to touch your keys. Now you done kind of spread it that around. Check this out. You took the mask off because you at home. You took the mask off. Ain't thinking about where you putting the mask. You done set the mask down. And now your kids coming, touching on your stuff. You took the gloves off. Guess what? Now you done put the gloves down because you at home. You feel safe. Now the kids, oh, what's this? What's that? What's this? The inquisitive minded. Now they done touched all on your stuff. Put their fingers in their mouth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Then you ain't thinking. A couple hours later, you got to run back out to the car. You run back out there to the car, and guess what? Remember all this stuff you touched? You're going to touch it again. Or somebody in your house going to touch it again. So stay safe, man. Stay safe. Continue the precautions. Sanitize your hands. All right? Get you some sanitizer wipes. Wipe down your car. Wipe down your stuff that you're touching, man. As soon as you get done with them gloves, just like a surgeon, as soon as he get done with them joints, they going in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Put your mask on in the trash.
Yeah.
Get you another one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. You said everything right. Just universal precautions, COVID-19 precautions we talked about earlier in the show, and the other shows that we had previously. And then, just knowing that the holidays is coming up. So happy 4th of July coming up. This coming up weekend, we want everybody to know that a lot of things are closing or going to virtual. There was actually 16 states that had closed, including Tennessee, Texas, Utah, California, Florida, and more states. And you can look that up on our website. And knowing that there's SBA loans that have been funded this past week. I know we were getting those loans together for people, and also your credit being important. So Mr. Henderson is on credit, and he's ready to help you with your credit repair. So nthcredit.net. So make sure you follow up, and we can help you. What did you hear about those loans?
Well, all right, they do have the EDIL loans. That's what it's called. That's one of the programs. And then they have grants on the other side. But we talking about the loans, okay? The loans, they are loans with a delayed repayment, right? As long as you do what you're supposed to do, there's a form, a 3605.
Right.
You're going to fill that form out, and that's how you obtain your forgiveness. But now, y'all got to remember now, when they said that they was going to get this money to small businesses, it was not a free-for-all type of thing. We're going to give you this money and walk away. That is never the government's stance on anything that they give out, all right? It's always going to be some kind of string attached to that, all right? And part of the string is when it's time to pay it back, man, they're gonna charge you a historically low interest rate, man, somewhere between 3 and 5%, something like that. All right, and so you apply for the business, they fund you relatively quick, but they're gonna want to know what are you doing with that money. All right, sooner or later. They're going to want to ask you. They're going to want accountability of the funds that they've given you, whether it's $1,000 or whether it's $100,000, whether it's $1 million. They're going to want some kind of accountability, all right, for what you did.
They make you sign a document for the loans saying that you can only use it for American funding. So anything outside of America, you ain't going to be able to do.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Now, it ain't like they're going to send a member of the IRS in a black coat, right? Because you went out and bought yourself a couple outfits now, knocking on your door now. It ain't that they're gonna do that. But at the same time, you know, keep in mind that the government does not ever give away anything without the expectations of something coming back to them. All right, so there are some people that said that they got denied. And some of those reasons that they got denied, some people said that they got denied because of their credit score.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Some people said that they got denied because of income. All right. If your business didn't make any income, some places are looking at that. If your business made $0, right? Maybe that's just to protect themselves from fraudulent activities, right? But there's more than one way to commit fraud with these kind of programs, right? A person needs their W-2 information or their tax return from 2019. That's one of the documents that they want to see. I guess a listing of how many employees you have.
Yeah, that was
That's something that they might want to see. And I guess, how do they verify that though? I guess by your tax return. All right, so when you turning in your stuff for this long, if your stuff don't match up, y'all do know that's called fraud, right? All right, so let's just make sure that we ain't commit no fraud while we getting this money out here. All right, because because in 3 years, the people gonna want their money back.
They said after 12 months.
There you go.
12 months. Yeah,
see, 12 months. And then you got so many months to pay it back or something like that.
Yeah.
Or either you get it forgiven, 30 years. See what I'm saying? So just make sure your paperwork right. Yeah. Make sure your paper right, because that's a serious obligation, man.
You can call Mr. Henderson and he can help you out.
Yeah. We'll walk you through the steps to get it now. Now, you got some programs that's going to be ending at the end of the month, too. Some assistance programs. But there are other nonprofit agencies that's also still going to be giving out assistance, too.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Then the unemployment money, they're
trying to stop
to be till July the 31st. So y'all take care of that financially. The extended benefits for food stamps, I heard about that here past week.
You can get emergency food stamps regardless of your income.
Yeah, I heard that. Was it regardless of income or?
Regardless of your income, you get emergency stamps.
Hey.
But it's only like $250. But
no, I mean, per person. No, $250 per person. So, yeah, that's some good money there, buddy. Yes. Yep. And so, further on in the news,
I'm just saying, I heard some people get $1,000 worth of food stamps. Hey, that's some money right
there. That's some money.
That's the money right there. $250, yeah, $250 is cool, man. But
per person.
Per person? Per person in the house.
Yes.
Shit, what we waiting on? Man? I got 8 kids, man. Let's go. We can call them tomorrow. We gonna call them tomorrow if it's like that. Shoot. You ain't got no cousins out there that need to move that line. Come on, girl, right now.
And I think that's all over the U.S. too.
Okay.
So further on in the news, Mr. Henderson, you is hilarious. Dr. Lester Gripspoon. Dr. Lester Gripspoon is an activist for the cannabis industry, just passed away at the age of 92 years old.
Yeah, man, he had a birthday the night before he died. Yeah. And then the next day, he passed away. Yeah. But this guy was very, very influential in the cannabis space in Georgia.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so Lester Gripspoon, that's his name. And now we're just going to talk briefly about how the NBA attitude has changed about cannabis. And we have a brief video that we would like to share with you. And then also just talking about apple cider vinegar. I have my bottle of apple cider vinegar with the mother. This is the Bragg's brand that I recommend for your healthcare needs. All right, so y'all be safe. Let's watch this video, and we'll be right back with you.
We talked to several players and former coaches who are using cannabis products a lot more than would be suspected. And I think one of the fascinating things that we see is that we typically think the NBA is the most progressive of the 4 major sports, but on this issue, they still have marijuana as a banned substance, even though the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Clippers, and the Sacramento Kings reside in California, where recreationally you can use cannabis.
Well, there's 16 states in the country, Denver, Colorado as well. It can be used recreationally and medicinally, all but 4 states. So we're going right to Stack Jack here. Steven Jackson on Nelly. When he played with Nelly, I had the whole building smelling like weed. He definitely knew as long as we were playing well, he didn't give a beep what we were doing. And now Nelly's got his own Nelly Kush over on Maui. So time certainly has changed. We welcome in Monty Poole. You heard from Tom Haberstroh a moment ago. You and Tom, I don't know how you guys divvied up the workload, how this came together, but it was a fascinating read. I encourage you to get to the My Teams app right now. It's on marijuana and the NBA, erasing the stigma and healing the league. It's interesting that Tom would say that the NBA is behind progressiveness with marijuana, because I mean, going back to David Stern when you played, I thought the NBA was the most progressive with the leniency for marijuana. But where's the league at right now, Monty?
Well, the NBA is the most progressive league in almost every way. But when it comes to marijuana, they have been slow to evolve in terms of taking it completely off the banned substance list. Hockey did it. Baseball's done it. Football is in the process of doing it, and even now, football has a higher tolerance level before you can test positive. So basketball has the most stringent rules for marijuana right now in terms of blowing a positive test. So that's the thing that people are trying to figure out why is that? Because you're right, NBA is usually out in the front of these things, and it's not in this instance.
Well, I've never smoked weed a day in my life, but I got contact high once, and it was
probably right here.
I know.
It can happen.
What, are you kidding?
No, it was with that group, but it's funny because I got former teammates. Al Harrington obviously has a huge cannabis business, and his whole thing was he never smoked a day in his life before, but he saw his grandma get cured from her arthritis, basically starting to smoke, and he was sold. Obviously, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. I do think it's probably a better option than the hardcore pain pills that they're taking in football, and those guys are messing up their kidneys, and that's really way more harmful than weed. Yeah, any of that stuff. So it's an interesting subject.
And that's why baseball stepped in. Tyler Skaggs, the Angels pitcher, when he died, they did the autopsy and discovered that he had opioids in his system, OD'd. He had oxycodone and fentanyl in his system. And that's when they said, okay, maybe we should take a closer look at that stuff and not worry about marijuana and cannabis, because, come on, you can walk into almost any store on any block in California and buy CBD oil.
Exactly.
And people who use it say
CBD is different than THC.
That's a little different.
Yeah, right. But they still come from the same plant.
Of course.
And so I know people who use CBD, and they swear by it. They say, no, it actually helps relieve their pain. But in talking to basketball players, it was mostly about it was hard to sleep after games, and also they didn't want to take pain medications. They were looking for something other than the pills that are manufactured in a lab. And so a lot of them are turning to this, and they know when the tests come, they get up to 4 tests a year. And if they get a positive flag, there's levels of punishment. But like yesterday, Malik Monk, for example, was suspended, and we don't know exactly what it was. But we also
substance related, they're vague.
Absolutely, but we also believe that when you get suspension level, that means it's been multiple occasions. This isn't the first time.
Well, obviously there's a medicinal side to this. There's a big business. It's a huge business now, one of the fastest growing businesses in the world. Yep. But it all gets back to the individual person, who this person is ingesting or rubbing or whatever you might do. If you have an addictive personality, what the dangerous thing is to say it's okay. It's not okay for everybody. Some people it's not good for. Right. And I'm abstinent. That's my choice. But there are other people that this leads to other things.
Right. So gateway drug. That's the concern.
Exactly.
So and there's a difference between CBD and THC.
Right.
And the one thing is we make jokes about it because it's legal in California, but it's not legal in every state where the NBA plays basketball. So how does the NBA? Legal. I mean, there are you know, if they just say take it off the banned list, but if you're driving with it in your car in Florida and you get pulled over, you're going to go to jail. Yeah. So I think it's a very delicate balance for professional sports to allow it in the CBA when it still is in many states, most states, illegal in that state.
Right, and state to state, in general, they regulate it, but the other concern is, you know, if it's late night or the store, are you always getting what you think you're buying? Right. That's the other concern.
And also there is the fact that, you know, NBA didn't start testing for this until around 2000. And that coincided with Vancouver and Toronto coming into the NBA. And Canada's rules are a lot different. The laws there are a lot more lenient and well ahead of us. And so I think the concern there was like guys can go to Canada and get what they want.
Yeah.
And then you got to go through customs and you may have a problem. So that's when they started testing for that. But by and large, since then, you've seen a whole bunch of states take it off the illegal list. And a lot of states are now recreational use is okay.
Like 16 states,
yeah.
Right?
In most states, it's okay to either use it for a recreational reason or medicinal reasons.
All but 4, right?
All but
46
4.
Out of 50.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I've seen guys like Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I would consider them like high-functioning potheads. But you talked about like everybody can't do it. Everybody can't take that much. There's some guys where they can't function at all when they take it. So if you allow it, how do you make sure guys don't overdo it?
I think, and Andre Iguodala said this. He said, "Why can't they treat it like alcohol?" In other words, if you realize that someone is overdosing on it or using it or has high levels of it in their system and it becomes a pattern, then you deal with it.
Yeah.
But if people are using it to heal their bodies,
right,
it's not a why should it be a problem?
Exactly.
It's a fascinating discussion.
I suggest the old hot tub cold plunge. It's a beautiful thing.
It's easier for you. You know, it's funny. The other night we had Run TMC here.
That's very interesting because they say that they should treat it like alcohol, and people who have a higher tolerance of it can deal with it okay, but people who don't, they need to be told what to do. So we are wanting to tell you what to do. CBD oil, have you some. If you are a low tolerant THC user, make sure you have a prescription is another option. Right. CBD is an antagonist of the psychoactive substance in THC. So one without the other. Have a strain that is a ratio strain, 1-to-1. That way you can counteract the psychosis portion of it and have that medical portion of it that goes into your body. So there's a lot of education that people need to get in when it comes to the cannabis industry. The NBA is doing a great thing and are moving in steps. The sports industry and as a whole is taking great strides towards moving towards cannabis. And, we can appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And it's not a gateway drug. I just want to let you know that it's actually been used in.
That's it. Dude said, to make sure that this drug don't lead to any other. But I guess you go then, and that's how cannabis, marijuana got its stigma the way that it did.
Yeah.
Because I know people who drank alcohol. Mm-hmm. That it got into way more trouble behind alcohol than other people that I know that participate in smoking marijuana, right? DUIs.
Yeah.
Person that drink, I'm fine, I can drink. Oh, yeah, I can drive. I'm
get
fine,
in the
I'm fine.
car and fall
but then I know
or
some
whatever,
people, but then I know some people that just only smoke cannabis that be like, man, I ain't taking you nowhere, man. I'm too high to even drive.
Right.
But
want to sleep.
I ain't never heard nobody that say, man, I'm too drunk to drive.
Right.
I ain't never heard that. They have Mothers Against Drunk Driving, but ain't none of it that say Mothers Against Marijuana. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me, man. That don't mean that them places don't exist. And probably shouldn't be no place like that exists. But I'm just saying, marijuana is not the only thing that can influence you to be careless if that's the argument that you're going to use.
It's an individual thing.
Right,
it's a personal
it's an individual
choice.
thing.
Yeah, and so new congressional resolution condemns police brutality now with the war on drugs. So a lot of the mishaps that has come with police brutality. Breonna Taylor situation, there was a drug raid. There was also with other black on black or black police brutality.
Blue on black.
Yeah, blue on black.
Crimes.
There you go. Crimes that related from the whole police brutality in the war.
I think we just started up a brand new word. Blue on black
Blue on
brutality.
black. Oh, blue on black. You know, the Crips gonna get us. No, we don't.
I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But I'm just wondering, though, how many of those officers that's involved with those cases or that type of activity, how many of those officers are on smoking weed when they get off their shift, or you know what I'm saying, other drugs or mind altering things, like in the news reports, there's a couple of stories that been out there about off duty officers so drunk. You see what I'm saying? I wonder if they be on other stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they probably do. They like regular people. You know, you drive around, you bust a weed man, take his weed, and then go smoke it with some partners. I know some police that's like that too.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
So again, I do testing. I have talked about the apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, get you some. Very helpful in the field of helping to fight off the flu and viruses. So make sure you have a dose of that. And we have a caller.
We do. Let us see.
Yeah. Hi, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Reg.
Hey, Reg. How are you today?
Hey, all is well.
All right.
How you all feeling on this beautiful day?
We doing good today. We're doing good today.
Doing great. All right. You have an inspirational vitamin. I know you preached today. How's it going with that? You want to give us something that we can use for the week?
Oh, all is well. All is well today.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Kind of excuse the noise a little bit. Hold on for me.
All right. We definitely want you to be safe now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you just fine. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just got one word. This is a business that you all are doing, and somebody else might be listening who feel that they can't do it, that they're unable, they are not equipped to do it. I just want to let them know that they can do all things through Christ, which strengthens them. And just keep faith in Christ and keep on grinding.
All right.
Right on.
You can do whatever you want to do.
You can do whatever you want to do.
That's it. God is the head. That's right. So thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for calling in. Who you want to shout out to someone before you leave?
Oh, I just want to shout out to all the saints and believers of Christ.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Amen.
sir. Yes, sir.
Much love to you all for you all platform.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So much.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I want to shout out Reeves. Reeves Chapel.
Yeah.
All right. If you ever in the area and you're looking for a church to visit with once everything open back up, I want y'all to go check out Reeves Chapel Missionary Baptist Church.
That's right.
Under the leadership of Mr. Pastor Reverend Leach.
Yep, there you go.
I think I know him.
That's you, Reverend. That's you.
I believe I know that guy.
And if we have anybody that's online that would like to follow your organization, Pastor, where do they find your information at?
They can go to Reeves Chapel, Somerville, Tennessee. They have to make sure they do Reeves Chapel, Somerville, because it's about 3 in the nation.
Okay.
Awesome. Excellent.
Right.
Thanks again for watching.
Well, I thank you for your words of inspiration now.
That's right.
I appreciate you. You have a good day, sir.
And you all too, and be blessed.
Yes, sir. You too, sir.
All right.
And
That
so,
was awesome.
I got something though. I got something. Remember the Facebook question we were talking about at the beginning of the show?
Okay, you get an answer?
Cannabis and sex. I do.
Okay.
I got an answer.
Go ahead and tell us what you got.
68.5% of people in a study said that sex while using cannabis was more pleasurable.
Okay.
All right. And so I went and I found the doctor who actually did this study.
Okay.
And his name, well,
All right.
hold on
We got
here.
another call.
We got another call. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for calling the Holistic Cannabis Show. You're live. Where are you calling from, and what is your name?
My name is Lisa, and I'm calling from Texas.
Oh.
And
Lisa
I
from
wanted to
Texas.
know about cannabis or something for arthritis and arthritic pain.
Okay.
All right,
Does
all
that
right.
work, the CBD or the hemp, or how does that work? And I know I'm calling in late, so
That's
if I
okay.
need to be put on hold and you guys talk to me afterwards, that will be fine. But
Okay.
I'm going to ask my question, and then I'm going to hang up so I can hear the answers as well.
Okay, well, you can stay on, and we'll go ahead and give you that answer.
Go ahead, doctor.
That is a great question. I'm glad you called in, caller, to ask. There's a lot of people who suffer from pain who are recommended or giving a prescript for cannabis for arthritis pain. The main thing that you can take if you don't have a prescription is go to get over-the-counter medication or CBD oil that you can get that's a full spectrum, which have both the full range of the isolates of the hemp plant. So what hemp is actually what they make the CBD
Find the remote.
from.
This one.
So you can always make your or have an extractor to extract the CBD oils for you from the hemp plant. So it's all going to come from the hemp cannabis plant. And the full spectrum is the best one for pain, for chronic pain. Now, intractable pain that just won't go away, we do want to tell you to go to your doctor to get a recommendation for the cannabis THC levels. So it's almost like taking a Tylenol. A Tylenol regular over the counter is what you would be your Tylenol CBD. You know, it'll be like a CBD version. But if you have extreme pain, you would need your THC to go ahead and help with that. But CBD oil also helps with inflammation that comes from the arthritis pain. And so you can always use your CBD in higher doses would be great. So you have 500 milligram, you have 1,000 milligram, you have 1,500 milligrams. So you might want to start with the low dose of your CBD and then work your way up to a higher dose. That way you can kind of fulfill what parts or what works better for you. Sublingual is always a great way to consume a CBD product that is sublingually. It goes into your bloodstream a lot quicker. As for smoking, you are actually losing a lot of the medicinal purposes of it in combustion. So 20% of that goes actually into the air, and you're only getting about 30% of the THC or the CBD when you're smoking it. So I would recommend a sublingual. All right. I hope that answered the question.
Yes, ma'am. I believe so. I'm going to give my doctor a call, leave a voicemail now. Thank you.
And also, caller, if you wanted to have a in-depth discussion with your pharmacist or your doctor about what type of strain. See, sometimes your doctor doesn't know.
Doesn't know. They
And
don't know
so,
right now.
as much independent information as you can find, then you would be able to inform the doctor of what you found as well, and work with your doctor in tandem.
Right.
So one of the strains that is good for chronic pain is called Blue Dream OG Kush. All right. There's another one, Granddaddy Purple, which we talked about on our show on Father's Day episode. We talked about the Granddaddy Purple strain. You have the Girl Scout Cookies, Jack Herrera, and White Widow.
Okay, those are great strains. All right. So if your doctor now, and this is for everyone, does not know about the cannabis industry, a lot of people, a lot of doctors was not given the information in medical school. We do recommend Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science. Classes start every other Monday, from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And we have a ton of students who are online getting that knowledge. And this includes nurses, doctors, lawyers, everybody that are off work and they're settled in their homes and can do that training online through Zoom right now. And so while the schools are closed down for the COVID, we are still learning about how to help individuals. And I would recommend taking that class for individuals, for caregivers, for patients, for people suffering. We have cancer patients in class. We have nurses and so forth. So again, call us 404-631-6360. Get a free face mask with the Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science, and you can take this class anywhere at any state all over the world. It will be beneficial for you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys.
You're welcome.
All
right. Hope to see you in class.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
will be considering that. Does it start tomorrow or next Monday?
Next Monday is our next class.
Okay, thank you. July 6th. Okay, thank you so much.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Question, Yolanda.
Okay, yes, sir. Question from the director. Come on, Jack.
You said something earlier that caught my attention. I wanted some information on it.
Okay.
And with the pros and cons of vaping versus combustion. Can you talk a little bit on that?
Okay, so there's a lot of controversy over vaping. Vaping does also combust. Okay, so you are getting vaporized, decarbonized THC or CBD. So depending on what you're using it for, if you're needing a route of administration that is going to prevent going through the lungs, you don't want to lose a lot of the THC, you could use vaping over the combustion. Okay, but again, the recommendation is better when you use the sublingual, or now they have a rectal, or they've been having rectal, which actually enters the bloodstream a lot quicker, and it bypasses the gastric intestinal for people who have gastric GERD or different problems like that.
So basically vaping is a form of combustion, just probably smaller, or
yeah, it's a smaller version of the combustion. I mean, you don't use the same wraps or the same procedure as you would using when you're combusting. When you're combusting, you're using a cigar wrap, or you're using a paper zigzag, or you're using you're smoking it, you're lighting with the cigarette versus a vape pen. You're gonna actually vaporize it, right? But it's still going through the burning process.
Is it any cleaner than just smoking?
Just the use of the wraps is the difference, basically, because there's hemp wraps where you can get when the hemp paper is a lot easier and cleaner on the body, and it's a lot beneficial. And versus the vape pens, they're in those cartridges. And, you got to do research on both of them. I recommend finding out where the vape pens are manufactured. They're still being inhaled. A lot of the inhalation is what people are really afraid of.
I was referring to the pen where you can actually vape the flowers. Where you can put the flowers in the pen and actually vape it. So
it combustions it burns it. Yeah, so they have a little.
I had one of those before.
They have the little burners in the bottom of them, so they actually fire the cannabis on the bottom.
Papers, huh?
Only difference is the paper.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, also I add to that, by saying that the maintenance of both is different. You have some people that would prefer that dry bud vaping because with smoking, if you smoke it through a cigar or a joint paper, you smoke, drop fire on your clothes, you burn clothes, you can burn your, you could drop your fire, and the smell of it when it's smoking. Right. If you smoke in an enclosed area, your clothes gonna smell like smoke. As opposed to vaping it in a dry vape pen, you smoke, it's gonna vaporize it.
So by that, it sounds healthier. You're not burning the paper.
Right. You're not burning the paper, but the paper, some papers you can get that's made out of hemp.
Yeah.
Right.
Some papers you can get that's made out of leaf. Some papers you can get that's. I've even seen cigars that was made out of pure cannabis plant. Period.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Now that cigar costs a lot of money.
Do it? Oh yeah.
It was like $600-700 for this cigar. You know what I'm saying?
For
but it's a
the plant
pre-roll.
roll.
It's a pre-rolled, and it's already, you know what I'm saying? Everything about it, $600. Yeah.
All right, so a lot of the places in California and Colorado, we're going to try to do our show live from one of those dispensaries so we can actually show you all what it's like to actually go into a dispensary and buy some really wonderful products. We might not can be able to bring it back, but we can show you what it looks like and have some diagrams or experiences of our own. So this is the Holistic Cannabis Show. If you have any questions about class starting on Monday, on the following Monday, not tomorrow, but 404-631-6360 is a way to reach us. And hopefully you'll go ahead and join. We have our wonderful textbooks full of information. And thanks to all of our students who are currently in class and who are watching the show, we will talk to you tomorrow. And for those listening, we want to see you all back the
We're
same
now
time.
enrolling for Saturday 5-week comprehensive medical cannabis courses.
Today at 404-631-6360 for more information.